thank you for the opportunity to speak. As rightly mentioned, the Damba rebranding team continued their courtesy calls to some chiefs, and today we moved from Tamale to the traditional capital of Dagbang, that is Naya or Yendi, as it is popularly known. We first paid a courtesy call to the overlord of Dagbang, and Danyana Abubakari II. He received us wholeheartedly, and then pledged his support to the team ahead of the preparation towards the celebration of Damba 2023. I mean, it is the aim of the team that we project Damba not just within Ghana but beyond Ghana, so we call it International Celebration of Damba. I mean, the suggested team has been, rebranding it, for sustainable peace and development. A lot has been said, but as you've been following these development, it started on the 18th of August, where we started in Tamale at the palace of Yab Daikwema. Yab Daikwema is one of the spiritual, lords of Dagbang. And then having recognized two of our brothers, their contribution to the development of the North, decided to enskin them. One is the development chief, that is Nana Gazo, and the other is our brother Abdul Nasiru Awudu, who was equally enskinned as the chief of Wex Tumana. And then so they saw with the need bringing together some media houses and equally some stakeholders who can help and then uplifting and then helping them succeed and ensuring that their dream materializes. So we visited a lot of chiefs in Tamale and its environs, including the paramount chief of Savulugu traditional area. And then today we decided to be here because plans were ahead that we should be visiting the overlord of Dagbang, but we were told that he traveled to Accra. So he came down, and then we had the permission to visit, so we did. He received us as mentioned. From there, he equally mentioned that as the king of Dagbang, he equally has, a grandfather, a kingmaker, that is the Kona. So he directed that after visiting him, we should make a move to equally pay same courtesy call to him. So we did that. And then true to his words, we were well received, and a lot of interesting things happened. And then I trust that our viewers, our listeners, following the video, you really enjoy what transpired there. But the very important part of the conversation has been him taking us through the history of Damba. As mentioned, Damba has two connotations, or descriptions and explanations. One, religiously, it has to do with the birth and naming of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the other angle is the traditional angle, where it seeks to sort of visit and then add value to our tradition and culture. That is the other angle, celebration of our kingship. Reigniting the spirit of tradition and culture. And then the chief equally mentioned that, and he made us understand that unlike other festivals which is celebrated either a day or two, Damba is celebrated in four folds, and the first day would have to do with the first 10 days of the month. And he says that per the traditional calendar, Damba is the third month of the traditional calendar. And then as we are in the second month, the month that we're waiting for to be ushered in will be the third month, that will be Damba. So the third month of the traditional calendar, the 10th day, according to, Yab Kona, the 10th day is Shinkafa Gahambo, and that it's equally celebrated because a lot of people will come around. The spiritual leaders and the malams would come with some women, so they pick out of the paddy rice, they would spread it over and then select some of the bad parts of it, just so the good ones will be prepared for consumption. And that the following day, which will be on the 11th, would be what we call the Somo Damba. It used to be celebrated greatly, according to him, but due to one or two reasons, and happenings in Dagbang, a lot of things have covered the beauty of that. So he's happy that today we have a traditional overlord, that is the Yana, and he trusts that with this effort, all the tradition that has been hidden will come back to light. So the Somo Damba celebration, they will cook this right that has been, the bad ones have been picked out, and equally, slaughter a cow. It is part of the tradition to prepare this right for people that will come for the celebration to consume. After that, on the 17th of the month of Damba, that is the third month of the traditional calendar, would be what we call the Damba. That is the Damba for the chiefs. And according to him, in early days where everything was okay, after celebrating Somo Damba, the Nab Damba, every chief within the tradition of Dagbang, every leader, a king skinned by Yana, comes to the Yana's palace for the celebration. According to him, it is his wish that this year, as we prepare to celebrate, same is done. But if we cannot do it, then he looks forward to subsequent ones, happening in the same way. Just so every chief that has been skinned by the traditional overlord of Dagbang summons him or herself at the Yana's palace, so that for this Nadamba to be celebrated. And after the Nadamba, on the 18th of the same Damba month, that is the third month, is what we call the Belkulse. So that is the fourth one. So that is where, the pomps and pageantry, you will see the real beauty of tradition and culture. He took time to equally advise. As we know, tradition is beautiful. It is all about putting on your traditional wears, devoid of using guns. Traditionally, we have a particular guns that the traditional, should we call it, we call them sapashinama warriors, what they use. It is very different from what modern guns, and then they are those given the authority and power to use those guns. As an ordinary person, yours is to celebrate, follow the drums, dance to it, dress nicely, live a good life on that day. You are not allowed to use powerful, sophisticated guns, shooting around. That masks the beauty of the tradition. Same with those who carry along things that do not form part of the tradition. He admonished that we should stay away from those things. And then it was quite very interesting that he equally remembers one of our chiefs, talking about our development chief, Nana Gazor, because we know that Nana Gazor's name is a household name in Northern region, especially when it comes to the projection of music and tradition. He has done a lot. He's contributed a lot. And so one of the songs, the chief himself, talking about Yab Kona, remembered that particular song, which has a very message that changes lives. He was able to sing some few lines, and Nana Gazor himself was made to equally take us through what informed his decision to support, that particular song. So it was quite interesting this morning here. And then they equally pledge their support to whatever we are doing and advise the youth, especially those that are into drug consumption, to stay away from that, because taking in drugs would give you a short time pleasure. The long effect is that you may go insane or just lose your senses completely or become useless to society. So the youth have been advised to stay away from hard drugs, just so they can become better versions of themselves going into the future. So finally, just as the media have equally accepted to share some of these through their medium, same with the corporate, because when these become so beautiful that a lot of people comes down to be part of it, we know some of the benefits of a celebration of a festival. So the corporates, in terms of financing, we encourage them to support. Some may not be able to give out cash, but there are some souvenirs or product that they produce that they can use to support those who are into the production of soft drinks, just mineral water and other things. Even if it is a t-shirt that you think you are into, that business, we are wearing branded t-shirt of the Damba. You can support us with that, just so we can use that. Whichever way you are, in whatever field you are, just make sure that you become part of this success story. We just want to develop ourselves, collectively. So when you come with your support, I come with my beat together, it becomes a very big, so we enjoy it. So we are inviting all corporate organizations, to give us a listening ear. And equally, I know that the time is quite close. I know how they budget. I've been part of budgeting and consultative meetings, so I know how it goes. But however, we sometimes make provision for things like this, so they should try to support, no matter how small it is, just so this will succeed. The idea is that next year, when it becomes so nice, we can equally sell it just as other festivals, so we can have a lot of investors coming down, and then who knows, they may be partners to their businesses so they can grow better.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.